Hello, welcome to Awaken Experience. Today we are going to talk about Tantric sex. We are going to talk about the misconceptions about Tantric sex. Many people think and ask us about how to do a Tantric sex. And then what they are asking for to do sex for a long time, for many hours. Like the tantric sex to be the same conventional sex, but for a long time is not. It's a total different concept that we want to bring, a total different possibilities, total different way of seeing ourselves and the other and the reality, because we are expanding the awareness. And that is what Tantra is about. Tantra is about expansion of awareness, and expansion of awareness that starts on the body and includes all the body, including the genitals. That is what we are speaking about.
Yes, many people think it'll be like a marathon of sex, but the truth is that would be pretty tiring if we were to have the same frictional sex, bang, 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 for hours and hours. And yeah, then there is the idea that tantric sex is multi orgasmic. And if the woman is not having multiple orgasms, it's not tantric sex. But the truth is, that can happen in tantric sex and it's perfectly fine, but it's not the goal, because in tantric sex there is no goal, and that is one of the fundamental principles of tantric sex. So while it's perfectly fine to for the man or the woman to have multiple orgasms, it's not the point. So we can be in a lovemaking environment, being present, being aware, being in a state of receptivity and meditation, and being present with what is. And then you could have lovemaking for several hours, and maybe you stop and stay in stillness for a while, and then you go back into action. So with tantric sex, it's like a playing with the polarities of the active and passive roles of existence. So I was going to say masculine or feminine, but I don't want to get confused with the masculine is active and the feminine is passive, and vice versa. It's not about the genitals or the male or the female. It's about the energies at play between the lovers. So we could be rising up to a peak and very active. Maybe there's some friction. Then we go softly, slower into more passive activity, stillness, awareness. But we take that awareness also up to the peak. So that is how we can have long sex, not by staying in one state all the time. It's about the fluctuations of the states.
And for the men in the tantric world, many people think the men in tantric sex don't ejaculate. It's a rule. For us, it's just a possibility. Maybe for the conventional sex, for the people that didn't got in contact with that possibility, they say, what? What the point to make, as a man, to make love, to make sex, and to not ejaculate? And then we say, but man, you can have orgasms. What? Orgasms without ejaculation? Yes, of course. That's an amazing possibility. Oh, and then we dive in the tantric world and it's like, oh, didn't ejaculate for all these years. There is this master somewhere that says that it's not good to ejaculate because we lose all the energy. In Awaken experience, we invite you to experience, to awake your body, to awake yourself, to know what is good for you. Try by yourself. Experiment by yourself. And yes, I stopped to ejaculate for a couple of years because I was used to do it, that like was an addiction, like was a only way to make love. There is other possibilities, yes, and sometimes we need to go in a different direction, in other polarity, to be without ejaculation for some time as a man, for explore that possibilities, to explore the beautiful bliss of orgasms without ejaculation, to explore the possibilities to be connected for more than few minutes with the other. And yes, tantric sex mis conception, it's uh, no ejaculation. Or there is also other conception in the tantric world, that is starting hard, starting soft, finish hard. That means to start always with soft penetration. Soft penetration, what's that? Maybe if you are not in a tantric path, you say, what's that? How is possible? How is possible to penetrate without having a hard penis? Yes, it's absolutely possible and amazing, and it's a very good possibility to investigate, to use. It's a amazing way to manage the energy, but that rigidity to start soft, finish hard, that start always soft and finish hard means never ejaculate, being always hard at the end of the relationship. It's interesting. Explore that by yourself. Maybe you get other possibilities, but it's not a concept. Misconcept comes from concept.
Misconception.
From concept. It's not. It's just a concept. Okay, try that, and then find the true by yourself. Find the true in your body. Make that your own experience, and yeah, and give feedback to us.
Mhm. Yeah, we often hear about no ejaculation for the men, and it's really quite a control thing, isn't it? It's like people, the men will try not to ejaculate so hard that they're not really present with themselves or their partner. So while it's a great practice to do and it has its own benefits, I welcome the thought of feeling what is in that moment. If you can redirect that energy without over controlling yourself, fine. But if it comes, let it. It's not, it shouldn't be a goal, because tantric sex is all about no goals, no performance. So controlling the ejaculation is really a performance, perhaps to the man himself. And for a woman, I speak from my own experience. For me, it's okay if they do or if they don't. It's really um, everything is welcome. When when a man is practicing to not ejaculate, they can communicate beforehand to ask the woman to assist and to be part of the process of not ejaculation, the if that is the intention, and they can work on it together. So if you know, but not with the control aspect. It's like, okay, my boundary is to not ejaculate, can you help me with that? And the woman can be aware of the partner and help him to not get to that stage, so then he's not in this like control thing and she's not involved in the process. So communication is really key. Yeah, and I would say that for women, to ejaculate or not to ejaculate doesn't really come up much in tantric sex. It's more the opposite of the woman to ejaculate in sex is like an achievement. Well, depends on which circles you're in, but with tantric sex, it's welcomed. But again, it's not a goal. If she does, some women just do it naturally and very easily, and others don't do it at all. And not to say that they can't, but it can come at any time. But again, it's not a goal.
Hmm. Yeah, it's important to see that there are two paths. One of control, and that it's still goal oriented. It's still performance. It's still um, outside of the meditation, outside of what is happening right now. It's bringing uh, objectives. There is other way, that is the consciousness path, the awareness path, the really pure tantric path, that is to expand our awareness. And to expand our awareness is to bring awareness about our own body. And as a man, if I feel my energy to go up, if it goes through a moment of going too excited to go to a level that can have an ejaculation without any control, but just because I am observing that the energy goes in that direction, I just reduce the level of movements and a level of deepness of my breath, or I allow different than I make it, the energy that is focused there to expand in all my body. And that is a big difference. It's a crucial difference between the control and the awareness. The awareness, you manage your energy by your observation. On the control, you act to avoid something to happen, or you act to something to happen. And the same, it's on the man body, but also in the woman body, because as a man, I can control the ejaculation of the woman, the pleasure of the woman, bringing more and more intensity there. Or I can just stay with what is, and allowing the woman to regulate her nervous system, to increase her sensibility in her body, especially in her genitals, and to allow that energy to flow pure in our body, instead of controlling, instead of putting energy that it can be traumatizing, it can be disturbing for the nervous system, and for sure for the skin, the sensitive skin of inside of the genital of a woman.
Yeah, it's like rather than a forcing, as you were saying, to like have a goal direction, it's more of an allowing. So we have this action of stimulation, of arousing your partner, but with more allowing than forcing. And then we can allow that energy to spread throughout the body. And it can be really subtle. Sometimes the subtle energy is almost so difficult to feel, but when we allow and when we surrender and not control or force, the subtle energies become a lot stronger and can start to ripple through the body. And yeah, it's the same with the men and their ejaculation process, or no ejaculation or orgasm. And it's an art to learn about ejaculation and the separation of ejaculation and orgasm, which you are much more proficient than me, obviously, but when I'm speaking about the men. But for the women, to really start to feel the numbness, if there is any, to feel the subtle sensations, to feel what's there without too much friction can be a whole new experience in itself, to allow that energy to ripple and to spread with just presence, consciousness, and recognition of the subtlety of what can be felt when we don't have that goal, when we don't have a rush, when we are just giving space to ourselves to expand with our partners.
Mm. Other misconception about tantric sex is that we create a Shiva Shakti environment, and we have candles, and we have incense, and we have floats around, and it's very exotic. Yeah, some criticize that is cultural appropriation. Some think that is the only way. I would say that going back to the roots of the world Tantra, expansion of awareness. We can be in a very common environment, and if we allow ourselves to expand our awareness, starting in ourselves, and then to connect with the other. If we take out the expectations of what is going to happen, if we respect the present moment that is there, that can be very sparkling or very sweet, calm, can be very young and very grabbing the muscles, and or can be very in soft, sweet, lovely way. It can be the connection with the divine and to feel the expansion of our perception of the world because we are with the other, or just a strong, just a strong connection of the heart to heart, like all the world it disappear, all is possibilities of the tantra, because all are expansion of our awareness, is expansion of our consciousness, is bringing us the reality as we perceive by our senses, by our body, to ourselves.
Yeah, there's a beauty when we allow what is to unfold. It could be really ecstatic, it could be really expansive, like you were saying. And I think what is important for tantric sex or sex in general to be fulfilling is to have variety and not too much monotony. So we can go moderation, so it's not like friction for 3 hours, but it's variety, going from one to the other, exploring those polarities. Um, so, yeah, I would say that when we are in that meditative state, we can really allow the heart to open. And what is a fundamental part of tantric sex is the chakras, but it's not like you have to focus on them to have a tantric experience. They are naturally there, and we use them to move the energy consciously. But at the same time, you can also just allow and feel the energy to move without using the concept of the chakras to guide you. So, yeah, that is one of the aspects of tantric sex, which is more technical, but it doesn't make it essential.
Mm. Other misconception of tantric sex, it's about kundalini. For the ones in the tantric part, then they are they know this word, and it's the energy to flow all in our spine. It's what in bioenergetic we call the full body orgasm, the connection with the divine and the connection with the grounding with the heart at the same time. And like, oh, that happens in the tantric sex, that misconception that we have that goal again. That goal, it's halfway for nothing happen. Kundalini, Kundalini, that arising energy all over our body, it's not something that we do. It's not something that we provoke. And any kinds of manipulation to that happen, it's not healthy, because Kundalini, it's a superior energy bigger than us, that we have sometimes the bliss to be blessed by that. And what we can do in Tantra is to create the conditions for that happen. And the conditions to that happen is to have the spine open, the chakras as you refer, the from the first to the seven open, the energy to not be stagnated and to flow. And that brings us to the meditation again, to the movement with our body, to allow the sounds to come, to allow the breath to go deep in us, to allow to have us the time and the priority to have a practice for ourselves, to create the conditions for the Kundalini to happen, not to arrive there, not to wanting to have as a goal, as a performance. That is the same, is the same as the conventional sex, where there is a goal, might be the reproduction, might be the pleasure, might be other thing, but there is a clear goal. And to remove that is an exercise in by removing our conditioning about that performance oriented way of living our life, to living our sexuality. And that doesn't help us to connect with the other, doesn't connect us with the other in a true space, in a real space. Because the only way to connect with the other, it's on the real space where the other is not performing, where I am not performing, where there is a meeting of two beings with their strengths, with our strengths, and with our vulnerabilities. And they might change moment to moment, they might change during our lives, might change during our relation. They will. And to observe that, to accept that, and to flow with that energy, that's Tantra.
Absolutely. Yeah, and to touch on what you were saying about Kundalini energy, if you have the goal or the intention to awaken that energy during tantric sex, it wouldn't be tantric sex because you would have the goal of doing so. So when you are, I mean, I wouldn't recommend forcefully trying to or making the goal to awaken your Kundalini energy. I wouldn't recommend that as a goal in life in general, because it is something that will awaken when it's ready. But if you push it, it could become very destabilizing for your life. We have to be on a strong spiritual path to be able to welcome that energy in a healthy and constructive way. There is no need for you to have a Kundalini awakening experience in this life. If it happens, fantastic, but I wouldn't recommend forcing it, especially during sex, because it is not something to be naive with, or it takes some preparation. And yeah, so very important to not have the goal in tantric sex, to have that as a goal, to have orgasm as a goal, ejaculation. Mm.
to stay what is in each moment. It's a fundamental practice, and it's a big discipline to come back to the present moment, to come back to the body, to come back to our heart, to come back to our breath, to come back to the here and now when we are with the other, and to remove all the expectations that we might have on that. That's an important talk that we are having today, because all these misconceptions of the tantric sex, it make you, if you expect this and that, to have less than are the possibilities you can have by yourself, experimenting by yourself. One of misconceptions is that tantric sex, it's all about flowers and amazing, woo, and the contact with the divine and the other. Woo. It's not. Sorry. The, this is good news, because it's not bad news, because there is more possibilities than that, just to have that. When I heard that, wow, wow, some couples come to work with us, and oh, we have always amazing sex. Okay, in my experience, amazing, really amazing sex, it happens everything. It happens that no stop orgasm, life connection, and a sadness, a fucking horrible sadness that we don't know from where it comes. I mean, tantric sex misconception about saying that it's all flowers and beautiful. It's not. We have the possibility to feel more things than that. We have to possibilities to feel anger. It's not meaning that we project on the other being that, but to feel it, and even to say, "Hey, I need to be a little time by myself. What happened here?" Or sadness, as I refer, or coming a crazy laugh that can even scare the other, because what is this guy went crazy, beep beep, or the fear to get crazy, really crazy, to go from there to hospital. Everything is possible. I'm not saying to you that you need to feel that. I'm saying that are more possibilities to feel than just the flowers and the nice, amazing, good, positive, uh, you know, beautiful connection. There is more possibilities, and also they are welcome. They are welcome because they bring new facets of life. They bring us new energy. They bring us expansion of awareness, and it's so good that can happen. That only can happen in a very safe place, in a place of trust. It's not a circumstantial fast sex where that can happen. It's because there is a trust, there is a safe container for that uh, emotions to be expressed on the sexuality.
Absolutely. I mean, the other misconception is that it's all about pleasure. As you were saying, it can be hard, it can be painful, it can be pleasurable, it can be a myriad of things that, or feelings or experiences. It's not boxed into one thing. All tantric sex is pleasurable. No, it can be really, sometimes, like, it can be painful, but in a way that cracks you open and helps you grow, helps you process something maybe from when you were 5 years old, that it it comes up because you are present and aware and allowing. And the pleasure and the pain can be so healing. I read one book and he was talking about tantric sex, and he said you haven't had tantric sex until you have not until you would have preferred to eat a shit sandwich than to make love with your partner. So it's you choosing your partner even when you really don't want to, because you are not doing it from the mind, you are doing it as a practice, a practice for yourself, for your relationship to the other, and for your relationship to the divine. It's yeah, so it's a practice. Sometimes we want to go running but we don't feel like it, so we don't go, and then we skip on our exercise regime. When we've made a commitment, we need to show up for ourselves and be healthy and fit. We go for a run. When we make a commitment to our relationship, to our partnership, we have to show up. And showing up is even going there when you don't feel like it. And that's not to say you should cross boundaries or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a practice. It's not always about pleasure. We're not chasing pleasure with tantric sex. We're allowing expansion of our consciousness and our hearts.
Yeah, it can bring deep tantric sex instead of that flowers that many speak about, can bring trauma to the surface and can be really revealing of something that happened in the past, because it was so slow, it was so safe, it was so connected, that the body, without us to control, reveals some difficult story from our past, and they come up. That's a very important aspect to reveal, that is tantric sex is not only about flowers, and it's about commitment to the relation, committed that to be together, committed to be uh, on the path of the expansion of awareness. Other misconception that there is like, oh, the man is on the young part and the woman is on the yin part, and that creates the polarity, and the man has to be very young, the woman very yin, and that polarity flourishing. And even in the homosexual relations, one is in the very male, the other is very yin. And that's a misconception that I heard many times, and my own experience is that we flow. Sometimes I'm very young on the connection, and the polarity is very young, and sometimes not. Sometimes it's very in. The secret, if I can say, of the energy is that we need polarity. We need polarity, we need different, we need some tension, a positive tension, that is life, that is the atmos in my body, that is the atmos everywhere in the universe, not only in this planet but in universe. And that polarity, it's necessary, it's fundamental for the energy to move. But doesn't mean that I'm always in the young energy and you are always in the energy. It flows and it changes, and it's interesting to not be crystallized on that positions of polarity, and to move their energy. Yes, it's true that I feel more uh, identified with the young energy, but also I know by my own experience that I have a lot of in energy, and it's lovely. I love it. I love it. It's not that I'm less man because I have this in energy. I love it to play with that, and I invite you to see if maybe you are a conventional couple that's always playing in this role of energy. just be receptive, man, and allow the woman to lead the way. Ooh, it can be scary. It can be an experience to expand the awareness. It can be lovely. It can be for sure different from the usual, and that is possibilities to expand our consciousness, and then we can choose to go more on this way or more in that way, or just to observe how our energy is moving, how our energy is moving with the other. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the dance of the polarities. So
Mm.
we have both energies inside of us, Shiva Shakti, masculine, feminine, yin yang, and it's a play. And life should be more playful. And I think that's the other beauty that tantric sex can bring. It doesn't have to be so super serious. It can be playful. It can be an exploration of uh, of divinity, of our own divinity, because we are divine creatures, and when we can connect in this way without our conditioning and our performance, we can really touch into that godliness within each other, within ourselves, and with the other. One of the things that I love so much about Tantra is that it teaches us to recognize the divine in each other. And with tantric sex, we can practice making love in the transpersonal. So the masculine, the male partner, or the female partner, whichever role you want to assume, masculine or feminine, yin or yang, you can do a practice of making love to this man as the representation for all men in the world, and vice versa. So, and that can be a really healing experience that can ripple out energetically for healing of humanity.
Mm. Yeah, that's a very important aspect. Yeah, the transpersonal aspect of the work, also a bit advanced, but we want to basically share you the concept that you don't need to be crystallized in an idea, and many times there is a concept and there is a misconcept about tantric sex based in a way of doing or a right way of doing. In our experience, to open the possibilities, it's a way to awaken ourselves, to awaken the relation, to awaken the world, to bring that experience to ourselves, to our body, to slow down. It's never too much to remember in the world that we are so pressed to speed up, to perform, to achieve somewhere, to slow down and to feel, to take out this performance oriented way of living life, to regulate our nervous system, to open to the possibilities. It can be an amazing world that we can build together, that we can live together more than build. Yeah. To bring the concepts of Tantra uh, without being open to live them in the body, it's just a new belief system. What we want to bring to you, it's the possibility to you experiment yourself, that you are your own guru, that you are your own teacher, that you connect with your body, that you bring self-love to yourself, to self-love, to really in yourself, to create that practice, and to deconstruct all the concepts that you might have about what is the conventional sex, what is the tantric sex, and sometimes they want to box as also if you are in a path of meditation on tantra, or if you are in the sexual path of tantra. I would say that we are all and we can be in meditation on the sex, and we can be without sex in meditation. And that expansion of awareness, it's that breathing, because expansion is always a breathing. It's always a breathing because you are expanding, but you might have a perception of that there is a contraction in certain moment, a perception, because if you know something, you are already expanded. If you get more wisdom, you are expanding more. And to go back to the body, to the wisdom of the body that took millions of years to arrive to that sophistication, to that quantity of information that works together, that is connected with the other, and with the world and universe, and with the galaxies. It's a possibility really to expand our awareness.
Yes, it's important to not box ourselves into one category. And while there are misconceptions to tantric sex, there are also principles which make it tantric sex or not. So while tantra can include all aspects of existence, if you are not present, if you are not in a state of meditation and love, then you're not practicing tantric sex. So that's why it's so important to have a good relationship with yourself, a meditation practice, which can be dancing every day, it can be sitting in silence every day, it could be running, painting, wherever you can quieten the mind and really feel the spaciousness and the divinity inside yourself, and feel the essence of what is beyond all these thoughts, and be in that state of meditation and practice that in everyday life, and bring that to your sexual life with yourself and with a partner. Then you will have a stronger tantric sexual practice.
Mm, absolutely. Uh, I want to bring a last misconcept that about tantric sex. That is, tantric sex is selfish. It's for me to have more pleasure, or to give more pleasure to my partner. I have nothing against the pleasure, and I have nothing against my partner as pleasure. But there is much more than that. And that might be a misconception about tantric sex. Because in my own experience, to bring more consciousness through the sexuality, that implies through the meditation, that implies through love, it expands in the world. Not expands only in my little being, my awareness, but it vibrates in the world. And as our presence inspired more people, we are giving our small but fundamental contribution to the world peace. What I mean is, it's not an act of isolated of someone or a couple. It's act that creating peace inside of ourselves, creating that perception that we are together, we are connected by our magnetic body, by our atoms, by our energy, to everything. That doesn't make sense to have wars in the world. That doesn't make sense to have real wars in the world, conflicts that people kill each other. Actually, if I'm okay with my penis, if I'm okay with my sexuality, why I'm going to go in the world and to kill the others? tantric sex, it's a major contribution for creating peace in the world. And that also is a misconception that is just isolated, uh, isolated act of someone or a couple. But try by yourself, feel in your body, and see if your presence, your meditation, the love that you bring to the world, that vibration is spreading, is creating waves, is impregnating others to live more in peace, in more self-love with their own sexuality, and maybe we all can contribute more to create peace in the world. But it's a subject that I would love to go deep in other talk.
Finished? Oh. Hmm. Yeah, I would say that what you've just said is the most important thing that we can do in this world. If we are all energetic beings vibrating at different frequencies, it is our responsibility to make sure that our frequency is vibrating love. If we are in love with ourselves, and I don't mean this egoic, oh, I'm so amazing, I'm better than you, that's not self-love, that's ego. When we are truly practicing self-love, when we are compassionate to ourselves, we are compassionate to the other. And we have said this so many times, and we will continue to say it because it is the truth. If we love ourselves, how can we hurt another? If we are compassionate to ourselves truly, how can we lack compassion for others? When we have this peace within, which comes from creating unity within, from our yin and yang, masculine, feminine energies inside, when they can be at peace with ourselves, we will be at peace with our partners, with our brothers, with our sisters. The masculine and the feminine, male and female people will be at peace with each other, and we will rise together in love. It's all about love and peace, and self-love is the basis of where this starts. So when we practice self-love and then we practice loving our partner, that ripples out. Just like you were saying, it's a spreading of energy, and so it might not feel that much at first. You won't notice, but don't try and look for the end goal. Keep bringing your awareness back to yourself and cultivating that loving presence with yourself, with your partner, with your family, with your friends, with everybody you meet. And that's how you change the world.
To create an environment of safety, first for yourself, and to prioritize the safety to the intensity, because in tantra and in sexuality in general, there is a tendency to go to intensity, to go to more strong, more excitement. And if we have a clarity about safety as to be prioritized over intensity, we create an environment where it's safe and where everything can happen. And if everything can happen, there is much more richness that can have much more possibilities and can have much more expansion of awareness. That's a clear, important boundary on the Tantra way, how we work with the Tantra, how we work with the expansion of awareness to prioritize safety on the intensity. And maybe you are waiting for in these talks that to just have techniques to achieve more hours of or more time of love making, and you bring that from Tantra. And you can have the techniques, we can share with you techniques to expand your capacity on the practice of tantric sex. And more important, the techniques is to understand, to take out the expectations, to take out the goals, to bring the meditation, to bring the self-love, to bring the connection with the other and the communication with the other, to understand what are expectations and what is the true communication that we need to have. And then, then behind what you can get just from the techniques, you can get really the fulfillment for your life, for your existence, that the tantric sex can give you.
Hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your presence.